celebration.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I still don't have anything.
You know, someone said you could add like "we coming" or "we here" at the end. I like that.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I'm gonna go with "we coming."
I kind of like the this though, Neely.
Oh yeah, just, I don't know what to do with my hands.
It's DNVR Buffs Prime Time. We're presented by Illegal Pete's, everyone's go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Unk is calling in, obviously. How you doing, man? How's the bye week treating you?
Hey man, bye week is going good. Feels good to be home. Got to see the grandson. Got to see my mom. Had a cigar at the cigar shop. Haven't gone out on the lake yet, but it's going to be about 75, 80 degrees tomorrow. I'm going to try to get out there and do that. And then we're right back to Boulder then, man.
Honestly, this is something that Jake could probably relate to as well, but like longest I've ever left my home is for about a month. Like, and then I get real homesick. Like, were you ready to get home?
You know, the interesting thing, I have been asked that question a lot. And I can honestly say I have not been homesick, and it's for two reasons. One, there's so many people there that I already knew from, say, the Jackson State days, and then meeting guys like Jake and RK and becoming fast best bros with them, it feels like home. So from a possession standpoint, family standpoint, Jackson is home, but man, Boulder's second home. I'm loving it.
I love to hear that,
man.
And honestly, if you're feeling that way, I hope that a lot of the players are feeling that way too. Like there's a real environment and a real family feeling there that gives, the warm embrace of home, even if it's away from home.
Absolutely.
All right, mid-season awards. It's the bye week. It's the perfect time to do this right in the middle of the season. We have 11 or 10.
I don't know.
I think it's 11. And we're going to start off here with best atmosphere. Who wants to go first?
Okay, I will go first. And I am going to say the best atmosphere of the season was against Nebraska. It was so much anticipation, so much hype, so many great vibes coming off that win against TCU. And it was just such a warm welcome for the Coach Prime era that I think that one's hard to beat, even though it's the 10 a.m. start, which hurts.
Yep.
You could look to like CSU because of game day and big noon and all of that amazing stuff. But the actual game was super tense. Like everyone was on pins and needles the whole game. Like, no way this is happening. No way this is happening. So it took a little of the juice out. Whereas Nebraska, it was like bring in our biggest rival, make sure everyone knows we hate them, and then kick their ass.
Yep. You go ahead, Unk.
Hey, I love that one. I love that one. And because you picked it, I can't pick it. So give me the Colorado State game for all the reasons you just alluded to. To have big noon kickoff, college game day there, night game, in-state rival, double overtime, where the world got to see, but particularly Buff Nation got to see dime time. See, I used it, man. I used your nickname. They got to see dime time, man, and to see what Shedeur Sanders is all about. You got a glimpse of it at TCU, but then to do it there at home in double overtime, man, with that Colorado State win. Give me midseason atmosphere award, that night game, Colorado State, double overtime.
I think, yeah, he's Nebraska. Yep. I think I have to do the same, Colorado State.
Whoa, okay.
I mean, Lil Wayne coming out, leading the team at the tunnel, man.
That's true.
Like, I mean, the early games were they were special, especially the Nebraska one. But just that night setting, having game day there, everyone was waiting all day for that game. The game absolutely delivered. Like, I know it was unsettling for us, but looking back, that was a fantastic football game. And I don't know, it was just electric in there, especially in the end of the game.
Yeah, and I get where you guys are coming from. My pushback is just that, or it's not even pushback. I just think it's a slightly different perspective on what makes the best atmosphere. Like, for me, I'm so invested in like the sound that the crowd is making.
Right.
That's like what makes the atmosphere for me. So I think in terms of like all of the outside things, I think you guys are right. In terms of the crowd, it was just a very uneasy crowd.
Yeah, it was. All right, next one. We've got best quote.
You want me to go first?
I can go first if you want.
You want Neely to go first?
I'll go first.
I can go first. I'll take it.
Let me go first.
Go ahead.
He wants this one. I think we're gonna agree.
It's personal.
Oh, okay. See, there's a lot of
The
options. here.
second one, the Jay Norvell one,
Colorado State. It's personal.
the on the field. What was it? Thursday practice.
Yep.
They done and made it, and then having the team go. It's personal. Best quote of the year, I think, so far.
That is a really great one. I was thinking more when I think best quote. I think press conference.
Still,
So
Nebraska, it's personal if that's what counts.
Fair enough. So I'm gonna give two here. The first one
You can't
is
give two.
the first one is a press conference setting. So this can be my official nominee. And for me, it's "Do You Believe Now?" Coach Prime was at his absolute best after the TCU game, and that one to me is the one that's been like replayed the most, and it's in every like kind of like hype video around the Buffs is Coach Prime saying, "Do you believe now?" And then if we're going for non-press conference setting, my favorite one is same game. Pre-game speech at TCU, similar to you, what you're talking about with the call and response, but we ain't coming no more. And then the whole team responding, we here.
Yeah.
That one, of everything that's happened in this entire era, that one hit the most different for me. Like when I saw that video, I had full on goosebumps.
Neil's giving the thumbs down. Let's hear it, Unc. What do you got?
I'm giving a thumbs down on you, Jake. Good job, though. Giving a thumbs down on you, RK. Good job, though. But you guys, you know how we have these double entendres when we talk. We have this veiled sense of sophomore humor when we talk. The best quote of the year so far is when the reporter asked Coach Prime if his diamond-studded whistle worked, and he said, everything on me works.
That was a great one too.
Wow, I hadn't even remembered that one. You filed that one away.
Yeah, it all
Some
works,
good
baby.
ones.
I love that one.
Some good ones in the chat, though. We practicing tomorrow.
Yep.
That one hit.
And we practicing tomorrow. Have a great night.
Yes.
God bless.
Girls Club says, "What makes you think I care about your opinion of me?" That's another good one.
Was that wasn't in the season?
No, it was.
Was it?
I think that was just before the season.
Either way, that's an all-timer right there.
I could be called out on that, but I felt confident when I said that it wasn't in the season.
You're
Then both of
confident in
you
all that
guys
say. That's why we love you.
hurt my confidence.
I don't know. I feel like that was early in the season. Either way. Next one. Maybe I think you need to help define this a little bit, but best moment.
Okay, you want me to define it?
Because we have best play right after this.
Best moment is more about a feeling that you had during something. So you could say the best moment was college game day being in Boulder. You could say the best, or even like when Lee Corso put on the headgear. That's like a moment, and so to me, it's like it's not a specific play or not it can be a play.
Yeah,
but
mine
it's
is
just
gonna
a.
be a play. I got a best.
Okay.
I got a best moment that's a play and a best play that's a play. Best moment to have the crowd in Texas chanting that Travis Hunter was overrated, only for him to break on the ball and get an interception.
That was a great
seconds
one.
later. Best moment.
Yep, I'm going to be talking about that one for a different award here. What about you, Jake?
Best moment. We don't have best win, do we? So then I'm
We have
gonna
best
go.
game.
I'm gonna go post game TCU.
Yeah.
Just being in the press box, having everyone up there just dejected and just completely stunned with what they saw, and just watching the celebration after, like that release of being dogged on the entire offseason. That was still in my mind, I think, the best moment of the year.
Ooh, okay, I am going to say my personal favorite moment, because I love it so much and so many other people hate it so much, just makes this perfect for me. It's Shedeur going up to the ASU student section and throwing it up. Like, that is just my shit so much.
The pettiness.
Yes, like they're chanting overrated to him just like they were with Travis Hunter, and like he just gets to go straight in their faces. And then I'm just, anyone who knows me will say, yeah, obviously. So you guys probably will say this too. But the more people hate something, the more, especially if I like it, it makes me double down on how much I like it. So people freaking out about that made me double down.
RK, it's called, take it from me, an expert. I've been one for 52 years. It's called being an asshole.
Totally fair. Totally fair.
All right.
You walk a fine line because you can be the asshole that everyone likes or the asshole that everyone hates.
Oh, yeah.
And you're constantly.
I mean, sometimes you're just both, though.
Fair enough. I see what you did there.
I don't know. I get it. I love it too, man. I'm all about it.
I love it. Bring it.
All right. Next one, best play. Let's have Ryan start us off here.
All right. Like I said, I'm going to talk about what Neely talked about. It's Travis Hunter's interception against TCU, and I'll get to a point that I'm starting to a pattern that I'm starting to see form at the end of all of this. But to me, like in terms of just someone doing something that you don't see very often, and just blowing everyone's minds, like that was the perfect moment where your backs are up against the wall. You're starting to feel momentum shift towards TCU, and then an incredible player makes a mind-blowing play that you just don't see very often. All individual. You know, it is coaching, and he said it after the game, like Coach Prime taught me that. But it's a combination of film study, a combination of ability, a combination of baiting the quarterback. I mean, it just had everything. That there's been a lot of great plays, but that one, to me, checks every single box.
Love it. Go ahead.
Hey, man, easy one for me when you talk about box checking. Everybody was accusing Coach Prime of playing daddy ball. Everyone was saying that Shedeur Sanders ain't this, Shiloh ain't that. So when you talk about play of the year so far, when you talk about the impact that it made in that particular game, when you talk about what he did after the play, give me Shiloh Sanders and his pick six at home as so far play of the year.
Love it, man. I've got a few, but I think I got to go 4th and 3, Dylan Edwards.
Ooh.
The game-winning touchdown against TCU. Yep. The screen is up there after halftime. And then underdog favorite for me, the Shedeur 2-point conversion that didn't count against Nebraska.
Oh.
That was an incredible play.
Yeah, a couple honorable mentions. Shedeur's throw to Omarion Miller.
Yep.
In the back of the end zone. As good of a throw as you're going to see from a college football quarterback. Let's see. There hasn't been any like crazy one-handed catches that I can remember.
The Travis spin is up there.
Omarion had the one-handed catch kind of outstretched. That was really nice. The Travis spin is like straight out of someone's high school highlight film. Yeah, there's some good ones in there. Also, Alyssa, check Slack real quick.
The Trevor Woods interception on the TCU's opening drive. That was a good one, too. That was when it really felt like the Buffs can take control of this game and they can win this game. And it was right off the bat. All right. Quick little pause. Shout out to our friends over at Kind Love. Shout out to Kind Love. They're amazing. Fully integrated seed to sale. They breed their own genetics. They've got the Turbo Core line as well. You can buy the Turbo Core inserts or buy the pre-rolled joints. It's a 100 milligram stick. Looks like a toothpick. You can insert it into a joint, blunt, cigarette, whatever you're smoking. They either get it while it's hot shelf, 8s for $20 out the door, and ounces for $100 out the door. Visit one of our stores in Cherry Creek or North Denver. Mention DNVR and receive the DNVR exclusive discount of 25% off all Kind Love flower, pre-rolls, and their turbo joint line. You can also visit their website at kindlove.com and use that code DNVR for online ordering and their full extensive menu. And then also shout out to MSU Denver. Turn your goals into greatness at MSU Denver. 90-plus majors. They have 10-plus graduate programs. You can even create your own major at MSU Denver. It's DNVR approved. We've had many of our own staff go to MSU Denver and get their degree as well. Create your own career and turn your dreams into reality at MSU Denver. Again, 90-plus majors, 10 graduate programs with courses online, in person, or both. Learn more at msudenver.edu.
There you go. Jimmy Horn putting Blackburn on skates.
That was a good
tying
one, too.
touchdown against against CSU. That was great.
Yep. So many of them.
trying to think what's been the loudest single moment in Folsom. Probably Trevor Wood's pick to beat CSU. It's a walk-off.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Honorable mention, a great play that people didn't get to see because it wasn't aired, was RK taking that sheet off the frat house in TCU.
When was this?
Oh, God, you haven't even seen that?
No.
Oh, man. We might have to make like a end-of-season highlight reel of all the dumb shit I did when I was drunk after games.
That's amazing.
It was deserved, though. I was very justified for that. For that move.
Best game.
All right, for me, man, this is going to sound weird, but it's a game that we actually lost. And it's a big game for me because it showed what this team can do, what we can become, where we're headed. When you look at what took place that second half against USC, who at that time was, I think, ranked number 5, somewhere between 5 and 8 when we played them. For us to do what we did against a Heisman Trophy winner, Cameron Silman Craig, HBCU transfer, gets an interception. It was an L, no denying that. But best game so far as we look to the future. Give me the USC matchup at home.
I love it. Man, I got to go TCU again. That game was just exhilarating, man.
Yep.
So many big plays, so many clutch moments. Shedeur was just ready for the stage right away. Travis just balled out like we knew he would. Dylan did his thing. Still the only game we really saw Dylan do his thing. That game just sticks out in my mind a lot.
And interestingly enough, it's the only game. Let me make sure. I guess a little. No, not really CSU. It's the only game that was like truly just tug of war the whole time.
Yeah.
Like not like one team started fast, one team started slow, then one team turned it on. It was like every play, just shot for shot, blow for blow. It was an elite football game to watch, and obviously the result is there. I'll just say it now because it's happening so much. It's a little bit, I guess, not the best thing that so many of the awards here are coming from the first game of the season.
Right.
And I don't really have like a big take on this about how it's, this, that, or the other. Like, there's still been great moments, but I'll just say I hope that we get new ones from here to the end of the season that take the crown away from that TCU game. But I think it's fair for the fans and for us to be saying all these things about that game because the lead up was one of the most insane lead ups I've ever experienced.
Yes.
Like, that was a 6-month lead up to one game. Like, the excitement from the day Coach Prime got hired to that never wavered. It never took a dip.
Right.
It was just full excitement every single day, every single weekend, just counting down the day. So, like, for them to go out there and deliver and upset a ranked team, I don't care what anyone says about them now, even though they had a big win this weekend, right? They beat BYU.
I don't know if BYU is ranked or not,
but I'm just saying
they did win big.
TCU had a big win. Yeah. I don't care what anyone says about it now. They were 21.5-point underdogs. They went on the road and they delivered in every facet of the game. Big plays on defense, interceptions, huge plays on offense, long touchdowns. It was just like everything that anyone could have dreamed of when they were dreaming up this season. So it's, as much as I would love to be able to spread out the awards, it makes sense for that one to be winning so many of these. Like, the feeling that everyone had during that game was unmatched.
We got to have the "I told you so" moment after too, which I think was probably the best part of it.
Oh yeah.
All right.
We did tell them.
Best coach.
Is this one of those places where we do like we do with offense and you can't name Shedeur? And we're going to say we can't name Coach Prime?
Yes. I actually meant to write best assistant coach.
Okay.
For this exact reason.
So
go, Neely.
Now, let me preface mine. I am blessed and fortunate to be in meeting rooms and that kind of thing, and I get to see some things that fans don't get to see a lot of, and we can't frankly show a lot of. But I'm going to go for teaching ability, let alone likability. Give me Coach Andre Hart in the linebacker room, man. His relationship with his players, his ability to not only tell them what to do, which all the coaches are good at that, but he goes deeper and explains them why they should do it and why it matters to the impact of the whole play and thereby the defense. Give me Andre Hart for coach for the midway point.
It's a great one. I think I'm going to go Coach Bartoloni. The work that he did with Travis over the offseason to get that guy to be one of the premier wide receivers in the country, what Zay's been able to do. We saw Amari Miller come in and just ball out as well. I think it's been the strongest room outside of quarterback, obviously, on offense. I mean,
it's not even a room. That's just a guy.
Right, exactly. So just the work that he's done in the...
Actually, it's not right to say just a guy in the same thought as Shedeur Sanders, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no,
it's a one-man room.
Yeah, just the work he's done and the talent they have.
That's a good one.
So, I was down to 2, and I think Bartoloni's a great answer, but I was down to Coach Hart or Coach Brew. And what Coach Brew has done with the tight end room, and this is what ended up being the tiebreaker against him for me, really just Michael Harrison has been really, really, really important. And, he took the least and has made a lot out of it. But also, it's the same reason why I have Coach Hart in this discussion, because he doesn't have any 5 stars, or I don't even know if he has 4-star players in that room.
DeMoy was a 4-star.
Okay, yeah. So he does. He has talent, but there certainly wasn't superstars in that room. And I think he's gotten a lot out of them. Brought in Juju Mitchell, got him up to speed. Obviously, Juju had some great games for this team. And Coach Hart also gets a bonus for being the best guest that we've had of any coach on the show.
That's very true. All right.
But Coach Brew was also great before the TCU game as a guest.
Yeah, man. Most surprising player. This is a little tough one, I think. Who wants to start?
I'll go because I can pick it up where RK left off. Most surprising player for me, when you look at what all these coaches bring to the table and you look at their track records, at the end of the day, we are our resumes. And so we brought on Sean Lewis as offense coordinator. And at Kent State, there was just about 0 production from tight ends in that offense. But here, you assume that was going to be the case because who the OC is. But you look at what Mike E. Harrison has done from the tight end position, totally changing, what Sean Lewis was known for in his offense at Kent State. Hats off to Coach Brew, as RK just mentioned. But you had to look at the tight end play as a surprise, not only because of the offensive scheme, but when you think about that the leading tight end in the conference and for 1 week the nation didn't have any drops, is a converted wide receiver on this team that went to tight end. So if you want to give me a real surprise, it's Mikey Harrison at tight end.
That's the right pick.
I think this will be our only unanimous. Because we talked a lot about how I always say, there's almost no dark horses on this team. There's no surprises because we've talked about every player top to bottom. But even though we talked about Michael Harrison moving to tight end, we did not expect him to be doing what he's doing. Mm-hmm. And so in terms of a true surprise, it is surprising to see the production that he's been able to have for the reasons that Neely said and just for the reasons that we certainly weren't sitting here saying he's going to, not only is he going to be a tight end, he's going to start and he's going to be great.
Right. I thought of Anthony Hankerson, but that Michael Harrison's the right pick.
Yep.
I mean, a guy who was kind of lost on the depth chart really in the spring game. He had that touchdown, but he was working with the third team offense, if I remember right. We didn't get to see him score that touchdown until late in the game. And then all of a sudden he emerges as the starting tight end, becomes like a security blanket for Shedeur underneath. And what he does after the catch, too, he runs so hard as well, man. He's just really turned into a great player. Next one is best freshman.
Woo! Man, haven't seen a lot of him production-wise since TCU, but that ain't on him. But when you talk about his impact in the locker room, his impact on the field, his personality, his character, and that speed, true freshman, man, I'm going with Dylan Edwards.
Yep.
Another unanimous. I don't think there's really many other places you can turn to. Obviously, Omarion Miller's game against USC was really impressive.
I'll throw Carter out there too, but it's got to be Dylan.
Yeah, Carter. I know he's catching a lot of flack this week, but he's been, I thought, on the whole, impressive in his time. But it's definitely Dylan. Dylan, deserves. I think I'm not sure. What sport do they go with win shares? Is that basketball?
Sounds like a baseball stat.
Maybe it's baseball. He deserves a full win share for what happened at TCU.
He does.
Not to say that that Shedeur and Travis and Zay and Jimmy didn't all have really big impacts.
He had a 4-touchdown game, man.
But he had 4 touchdowns. That's a season for a lot of players.
Think about this, guys. Think about this. Had we done a bye-week prediction for these awards the week before TCU, we all would have been saying Cormani McClain at this spot for freshmen. Because
or
one
Dylan,
thing you just don't anticipate freshmen playing to this level this soon, and you see that in McClain's what he's bringing to the table, going through those freshman growing pains. So it's even a bigger hats off to Dylan Edwards that he not only did it, he did it week 1 and has been an impact player, even if to not the degree of TCU, in every game since then. He's on the field.
Yeah,
Yep.
totally.
Got to shout out Omari Miller, too. That was just a miraculous performance. Comes in at halftime and puts up nearly 200.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it doesn't work this way, but
Right.
he could have put up 400 yards in that game based on the pace he was on, which is shocking.
All right, into the big ones here. Defensive Player of the Year, or the midpoint.
I'll go first here, and this is a guy that I actually thought could have been a candidate for most surprising player, just because I wasn't ready for him to be this good. But he's been so good that I almost felt it wasn't fair to him to call him most surprising player, because I think he's Defensive Player of the Year so far. It's Omarion Cooper.
Yep, I agree.
He has been just fantastic to me. And the whole offseason, we're talking about Cormani and Travis. And he just walks in and is just like lockdown for most of the season.
Yep.
So I've been really, really impressed by him. And, I think I don't want to take anything away from him, but had Travis been healthy the whole season, this might have just been his with a bullet.
Yeah.
But he hasn't. And so to me, it's Omarion Cooper.
Man, RK, you make a compelling argument, man. You make an argument so compelling that as much as I want to say Shiloh Sanders, I have to acknowledge that missing that game and playing time impacts that. And when you look at what Cooper did with his opportunities, I'm going to side with you on that one, man. At this midway point by week, I know Cam has been out there and leading in interceptions. But, man, Cooper's play has been so proficient and efficient that it doesn't make the film in the highlight, because he's just taking his damn man just totally out of it as an option for the quarterback. I'm going with you, man. Number 3, Omarion Cooper.
Same, Omarion Cooper. I mean, people are going to dog on him for the 97-yard touchdown where he slipped and fell. But the guy was just completely in his bag against USC, had multiple pass breakups, had the big sack. And he's just, as you said, kind of not came out of nowhere. I think we penciled him in as the cornerback behind Travis and Cormani before the season, but he is proved that he could be, a legitimate NFL draft prospect, I think, down the line.
Yep, absolutely. He's been awesome. I'm excited to see more from him. There's a lot of people in the chat saying Shiloh. Shiloh has been great too.
He has been.
Tons of big tackles. Obviously a pick 6. And then a lot of people saying Cam. I saw someone said you guys are tripping on Cam. You're sleeping on Cam.
Shit.
No.
We have to pick
I
one
won't stand
guy.
for that. He is. I said this I think last week. If I was buying a jersey of any player on the team, it would be Cam. He's my favorite player. So I'm not sleeping on him.
Here's the problem with this. It's a good problem. You can draw straws, man. We can flip a coin. Whereas the defense at times has been lackluster, you can look at the final score and see that. We have some dynamic players there. I know Shiloh's injury and Travis' injuries were at no fault of their own, but we are talking about a sport where first of all, your best ability is always availability. And because they had to miss time, it just allows for a guy like Cooper who didn't miss time and make the most of his moments. So this ain't shitting on Shiloh. This ain't shitting on Cam or Travis. Man, but number 3 has done more with less this entire time since the first game. I got to go with him.
Yep.
All right, other side of the ball, offensive player at the midpoint.
And this one is just like the NFL, where you don't give the MVP and offensive player of the year to the same person. I'll go first on this one. To me, it's Zay Weaver. And another one where it's just like, yes, we talked about Zay a lot, but with Jimmy's speed and Travis's insane athleticism, he didn't get quite as much burn in the offseason just because it was like he was kind of a given. It was like, yeah, he's going to make a lot of catches and whatever, but he's put every, we talked about checking every box earlier. He's put every box you could want from a wide receiver. He's checked it off. Speed down the field. He's made several catches on vertical routes down the field. Catching in traffic. Made a ton of big catches. Route running. Just, getting guys out of their shoes. So he has been so special. Obviously, the numbers are right there to back it up. He's super consistent. Really only had one off game, and that was against USC. But other than that, he's brought it every single week and been a really, really, really trustworthy target for Shedeur. And I think that when you look back on it, Montana Lamonius Craig left this team because he saw what Zay Weaver was going to be.
Exactly. Yep. Go ahead.
Amen. Pass the plate, put some money in it. Zay Weaver all the way for offensive player at the midpoint, man. His yards after catch, him taking the top off the defense, deep ball, you name it, he can do it. When I talked to Coach Prime at halftime of the Stanford game, I was like, man, he's him. And he's like, he is him. And we see it every day of practice. It's not something that waxes and wanes or ebbs and flows or is here on Tuesday and gone on Thursday. Zay Weaver is that dude every day of practice, every moment of the game. And even in the quote-unquote lackluster performance that he was out there, it was coming off an ankle sprain that most people in the United States wouldn't even get dressed that day. But he still went out there, man. That dude is a stud. He's going to be in the Senior Bowl. He's going to play on Sundays. It's just a matter of time.
No question.
I'm so excited for that, man. I'm excited for his future. I'm obviously excited for the last 5 games, hopefully 6, for Zay. But I think he's going to be a potential day 2 pick.
Yeah, top 50, I think.
Yeah, which is so exciting, man. And it's going to be huge for Colorado, not just for Zay personally, but for Colorado moving forward to be able to say, look, we took this guy in, and he wasn't getting talked about as an NFL player at all before he got here, and not really by his own fault. But put him on the map, put him on the big stage. He delivered, and now he's getting drafted in the 2nd round of the NFL draft. Like, come here to Colorado. This is why.
Exactly. I agree, man. I mean, you mentioned the USC game. He didn't have a great performance. You could look at the Arizona State game, only 2 receptions for 17 yards. But you have to count the blocking on Shedeur's touchdown run. You have to count the big punt return as well.
And the reverse touchdown.
And the reverse last week against Stanford. He's done a lot.
No, I'm talking about against ASU, he scored on a reverse.
Oh, he did, the 1-yard one. That's right. So he's got 2 rushing touchdowns. Yeah.
And keep in mind that USC game, how much attention he commanded from the safety because of what he had done the games before. So he even out there limping, hobbling, he was freeing up other people just being out there getting dressed.
He's just done it all. He's amazing. MVP.
Well, we can all say this one on 3 if you want. It's obviously Shedeur. All right. Well, I already ruined it. Sorry.
1, 2, 3. Shedeur Sanders.
Hey, look. So everybody in the chat who was trying to nail us for picking Zay as offensive player at the midway point, and they're like 2. How you Shedeur? Like, hey, man, he's the MVP, man. He is the MVP. Still leading the nation in yards, was leading in touchdowns, still leading in touchdown to interception ratio, still leading in completion percentage. And this is from a guy who transferred from HBCU that they said was just daddy ball and couldn't do it at this level. And he has done it every single week at this level. And get this, in true MVP fashion, you take him off, we ain't won a damn game.
It's completely different.
You ever seen the Indianapolis Colts season when Peyton Manning didn't play?
Yeah.
They got the number 1 pick and drafted Andrew Luck. That's what this team would be without Shedeur. No disrespect to anyone, but that is how valuable he is to this team. And even in their lowest moment, which was last week, he threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yep.
He's just incredibly special. The three of us are part of a very, very, very small group of people who knew this was coming.
Yep.
A lot of the people in the chat are also a part of that group. But, I mean, we sat here, Jake, I'll never forget it. We watched the Celebration Bowl. We watched a bunch of film on Shedeur at Jackson State and just said, like, I'm sorry, but there's just no way it doesn't translate.
Yeah.
Like, the way that he plays quarterback has nothing to do with anyone on the other side. It has everything to do with just how good he is at placing the football, how good he is at reading the field, how good he is at understanding defenses. All of that translates to Power 5, Division 3, the NFL, the CFL. It does not matter where you put him on the field. Yeah. The backyard, he is going to throw dimes. And that's what he does.
RK, man, I did the same thing here when he was coming to Jackson State out of high school. It's October 2020, and he's made the decision that he's going to come to Jackson State. The whole world is saying it's daddy ball. Just so happened that Trinity, his high school, was playing a team in North Mississippi up in the Delta going toward Memphis up in Clarksdale. I said, you know what, man? I'm going to drive up there and just watch this guy play. I want to see if this is daddy ball or not. I got back. Buddies were asking me, like, man, so what was it? What did you see? And I told them, I said, the only reason he ain't got a 5-star by his name is because his last name is Sanders. And you got haters in the world that don't want to give him his credit. This dude can flat out ball. Everything he did at Jackson State has translated. Everything he's doing in Colorado will translate to the NFL. If I'm a scout in this next year's draft, because he ain't going nowhere this year, in this next year's draft, if you want to get a guy who's shown he can do it under pressure, because here's what's happening. Bad teams get the first-round early picks, and they go with quarterbacks. So you end up being on a bad team. Bad teams normally can't block well. Look at what this guy is doing with poor protection, leading the nation in yards, man. Like when you look at his touchdown to interception ratio, his completion percentage, just think if he had the NFL line in front of him, what he's going to do. Shedeur Sanders is that dude.
And it's without a running game, too. Yeah. It's all on his shoulders, man. And we've seen the last few weeks, too. He's been able to use his legs more. Got up to 70 rushing yards at halftime against Stanford. Of course, the sacks brought it back down. We've already talked about that a bunch. The guy's got a 21-3 touchdown to interception ratio, completing 72% of his passes. He's going to shatter the all-time season passing record here at CU. It's just honestly, it's just a bummer the rushing yards are at -23 on the season.
Yeah, it doesn't do justice because of the stupid way that they keep stats in college football.
But it's like, dude, it's like, how in the hell do you lead in getting sacked and lead in yards? Like
it's crazy.
What that says about your fortitude, what that says about you letting them hang and standing in that pocket, you know you're going, because that's just the sacks. That means he's probably leading in hits and hurries too, and he's still delivering as RK is going dime time. Like, it's unbelievable, man, what you're witnessing. I think one of the challenges is we get so used to it that we expect it, and then we stop celebrating it. And you can't stop celebrating and recognizing, man, this is greatness right in front of you. This is history making. The dude is the dude.
Couldn't agree more. And I'll just say this, and I promise you I only mean this as a compliment to Shedeur and not a knock on Caleb Williams. But did you see what Caleb Williams looked like when facing constant pressure on Saturday night?
Mm-hmm.
That is what Shedeur deals with on damn near every play. And so I truly believe that NFL people watched that Caleb Williams game and came away thinking even more highly of Shedeur.
Yep.
Like you said, no run game, questionable blocking for sure at times and a lot of the time. And, I mean, only Oregon is the only team who's been able to really like keep him down when it comes to just putting up numbers, making big plays over and over and over again. And then you add in the clutch factor, dime time. That is something that you cannot measure. It's something that you can't have on Madden. It's not anything that you can quantify until you just watch it. And you see that in the biggest moments, he delivers his best performances.
That's the big thing for me is the poise and the clutch factor he has. You just know he's going to make a play almost every single time. Yep. The 2-point conversions, the one against USC, the one against Nebraska, like that's just literally him making a play.
Yep.
And he's done that so many times, even with all the pressure. You know, we can complain about how he takes sacks and all that, but you have to take the good with the bad. And when he scrambles out for 10 seconds and finds a wide open Zay or whoever down the field, like, you got to take that with the sacks.
Totally. And if there's anything I'm confident, if there's anything I'm fully confident in when it comes to Shedeur, it's that every time he makes a mistake, he is going to learn from it and turn that into a positive when it comes to the overarching arc of his career.
Yep.
Now we just gave everybody the complex, the detailed as why this guy's MVP through the midway point. But we can also just simplify it how we started. If you take him away from it, and this is any MVP, I don't care if it's Kobe with the Lakers, Joker with Denver, like I don't care who it is. What happens if you take that person away? And if you look at all the other names we discussed, as impactful as they've been, we were giving out the previous categories award. If you take them away from this team, there's another guy that's doing just about the same thing. If you take Shedeur Sanders off this roster for just a series, let alone the game, it is a totally different outcome. There's no way he's not the MVP.
Yep.
Just got to shout out Travis, though. I mean,
we
saw what this team, they were lost when he went down. They figured it out on the fly because they have Shedeur. But those games after, Oregon, USC, they really were trying to figure themselves out at that point. And obviously, he's the best non-quarterback player in the country. So shout out to Travis. If he had a full season, he's definitely in contention for this. Absolutely.
And I think they quickly learned how much of their identity was centered around Travis. We talked about ad nauseum how the identity is Save Us Shedeur. It has been really for a while now. But that started really when Travis went down, because before you could have said Save Us Travis and Shedeur.
Yep.
You were building the defense around him and his ability to shut down his side. And then, the offense, you could count on him every time you needed a big play. And obviously you count on Shedeur to get it to him.
You look at what a healthy Travis would potentially give you in this conversation. He wouldn't be best atmosphere. He wouldn't be best quote, but he's giving you best moment and best play. He's mentioning what you chose as best game. He's not a coach. He's not a surprise.
He could have got best coach, though, with what he was doing with Cormani and Omari.
He could have. You're exactly right. But could have been offensive and defensive player to this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
Like, he's amazing, man.
And that's why I truly believe that the second half of the season is going to deliver us new moments. Obviously, we'll do this again after the season, and I think we're going to have new moments, new plays, new players, because, God willing, Travis Hunter's going to be there the whole way.
Well, and then you see what he did when he came back against Stanford, just on the offensive end. I mean, 14 receptions, most receiving yards. He's had first touchdown at CU. Like, his impact was felt immediately once he was back and healthy. Say whatever you want about the defensive side of the ball. We've already talked about this. Cornerbacks get beat. It's not surprising. Travis is going to learn from it.
Every single corner you can ever think of in your life has gotten beat.
Absolutely. Yep. And, and I know that schematically, a lot of what number 13 did appeared to be on Travis Hunter, those nearly 300 yards. But you also have to consider that when they're in that kind of zone, that ain't just on Travis Hunter. We also have to consider that him playing both ways first game back, that was a lot of minutes on a body that had not fully recovered. It had recovered medically from the lacerated liver, but not conditioning. One thing I can tell you about Colorado, man, about boulders, I sit here in Jackson. It take a long time to get in shape, but it don't take but a couple of days to get out of it. When I walk up that hill to the football building, if I ride up that hill for just 3 days instead of walking, that fourth day feels like I've never done it before. When you take some time off a boulder, like, there is a regress, man. And I am confident, he's working out, getting stronger, and, we're going to have a home stand there in these five games that's left. Travis is going to be back to being Travis, but don't look at what happened with him and 13 matchup as that somehow is the new Travis post-injury. That's an anomaly, man. Throw that out.
Yep. All right. We're going to dig into more stat stuff here very shortly. Shout out to Breckenridge Brewery. You guys know we love our Breck beers here at DNVR. Beer of the month is Broncos country?
Sure.
It's been Broncos country, I feel like, the last 3 months. So.
Well, I mean, you're asking the wrong person.
I don't know. Anyways, we got tons of them here at the DNVR bar. They got a brew for any occasion. They've been doing it for 33 years. It's made with 100% renewable energy. Try some of our favorites. Mountain Beach Sour, Strawberry Sky, Broncos Country Pale Ale, Mile High City Golden, and the Fun Slinger. Got a bunch of those on tap here as well. Check out their beer locator at www.breckbrew.com, and you can find a Breck Brew near you. And then also shout out to our friends at Backus and Shanker. You get hurt, they are here to help. They've been helping Colorado families win for 25 plus years. They won over $1 billion for their clients. They got neighborhood offices
$1 billion.
all over the city. They help with all kinds of injury cases where you weren't at fault: car accident, motorcycle, rideshare, pedestrian, trucks. Even if you're hurt at work, smash that Shedeur line, 222-2222 to find out if you have a case for free. Backus and Shanker wins.
A lot of people in the comments talking about Travis playing too many snaps in that game, and we kind of talked about how he was gassed. I just want to say this in defense of the coaches: nobody expected them to need Travis at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So if all goes according to plan, they're up 29-0 at halftime. They go score on that first drive at 36-0. The game's probably over at that point, and then Travis nor anyone else has to play in the fourth quarter. But when your back is up against the wall and you're scratching and clawing for a victory, and Travis is saying, "I'm good, I'm good, I'm good," you're obviously going to put him back out there because you want him to help you. So I think it was just everything about that game is a perfect storm.
Yep.
No, that's right. Okay. You gotta. That's right, RK. You got to take it chronologically. It's easy to be hindsight 2020 looking at the end of the game and the totality of it, but situationally, we all know, even at 29-0, getting the ball after halftime, the starters were coming back out on offense and defense. So he was going to be playing early third quarter to mid third quarter. Sean Lewis, offense coordinator, he challenged the entire team at halftime of that game by saying, "Hey, it's incumbent upon you, the starters, to do out there, kick some ass. That way the guys behind you get the opportunities that they've also been working for." That just didn't happen. So you still had to go at your best guys, no matter how winded they may have looked or become to you. You got to call the game while the moment you're calling the game. Second guessing it now, ain't doing anything, man.
Yep.
I mean, look, man, after this bye week, I think we can expect to see Travis back at, full conditioning, full win, to be able to be that player for all four quarters. I think that was a great point just on
totally
the pace of the game against Stanford. I mean, it really didn't work in their favor multiple ways. Let's talk about stats real quick. Shedeur has completed 72% of his passes, 2,420 yards, 21 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The single season CU passing record, 3,200 by Cepho in 2014.
And he is at
24. He is 800 yards away. That is two games. That is crazy. He might hit 5,000.
What's crazy is, not to get ahead of ourselves here, because it'll be great for him to break that record. He probably has a chance to put some of the career records to the test in just 2 years.
So if he gets 4,000 passing yards this year, he will automatically move in to 10th overall in passing yards. And with a whole other year to go, the career leader is Cepho again with 9,700. It's on the table.
It's totally on the table. Now, I must be honest, I hope that in a perfect world, he falls a little bit short of the all-time records because the team is so good at running the ball that they don't need him to throw for 400 yards every game.
That would be nice.
I would love some 325-yard, 3 touchdown, 0 interception games from Shedeur that come along with a 100-yard rusher that also had 2 touchdowns
or multiple 100-yard.
Yeah,
rushers.
exactly.
That would be great. And one thing we got to keep in mind, yes, he's only going to be at Colorado, 2 years as starting QB. But many of the guys that he's surpassing, they may have been in Colorado 4 years, but they only played 2 years. So when you really deep dive into the numbers, you're going to see just about the same amount of games played. Maybe not the same number of attempts because we are a more high-profile passing offense, but many of the records, man, touchdown passing percentage, it's in completion percentage, touchdown to interception ratio, you name it, he's going to eclipse it. All he has to do is just go out and do what he does, and that's be himself. And he ain't even thinking about the records. Just think if he was really out there trying to, hype his numbers up. He's just out there trying to win games.
Absolutely. And what's crazy, if he actually does challenge that all-time record of 9,000, Cepho was actually a 4-year starter. Not all. I think he came in about halfway through his freshman season, and then started all the way through his senior year with only a couple games missed to injury. So pretty crazy that he could even get in that ballpark.
Yeah.
He set the single game passing records in week 1 against TCU with 510, cleared that by 36 yards. Zay Weaver, right now he is at 50 receptions, 631 yards, and 4 touchdowns. You go to the all-time receiving list. First off, we'll start with receptions. Nelson Spruce in 2014, 106. Zay's already at 50. I don't know if that's quite in there, but he could definitely break into the top 3. Visca is third with 86.
Let me tell a quick Nelson Spruce story.
Okay.
2, actually. 1 will be quick. Nelson Spruce was that football team, and that's what's going to make this hard for Zay. Nelson Spruce, on the very first day of fall camp, has like a very minor ankle sprain. Coaches just say, you know what? You don't need to practice at all anymore. So he just was shut down for the entire fall camp because they just knew if without him, we have no offense. Then this is notable because we're going to UCLA next week, and I think I'll actually be in the press box for the first time this season. Last time I was in the UCLA press, maybe I can be on the sideline with you, Unc. Let's talk about that later.
Let's do it.
I in the UCLA press box, the moment that Nelson Spruce breaks the record, and they come over the speakers and announce Nelson Spruce has just set the all-time Pac-12 receptions record. And I kid you not, 4 different UCLA LA reporters were like, "Who is Nelson Spruce?" And I was like, "You've got to be kidding! This dude just broke the Pac-12 receptions record. You guys didn't even know who he was."
Insane. The 19 reception game against Cal?
Yep. No. This was against UCLA.
Oh, okay.
He broke the Pac-12 single season reception record.
I see. In terms of receiving yards, the record was Paul Richardson in 2013. He had 1343. Zay right now is at 631. That's a bit of a long shot. I mean, who knows? Maybe he just has a 250-yard game and just gets right on pace. Single game is going to be tough to beat. That was, again, Paul Richardson in 2011.
Against Cal.
Yep, 284.
Yep. That one was crazy.
And, it's going to be hard to beat. And like I said, these guys are not trying to beat it. They're not even looking at records like that before the week of preparation or even during the game for that matter. But we'll be amazed at what could happen because, when you go to TCU, you didn't go into that game thinking Shedeur's getting 500 yards. You go to the next game, you're not thinking the receiver is going to get 197. Like the damnedest things happen with this offense to players you've never seen it from before. So I'm optimistic, man, but I hear you. Like, it's the reason these records have been sitting there so long. But there's just no telling with this team, when you have a 600 passing yard game and, 3 receivers with 200 yards apiece. It can happen in this offense.
Big Teasy says, RK, you can't be on the sidelines with your shenanigans around Coach Prime. Hey,
Big Teasy, we appreciate that, brother. And speaking of comments, this one got by me, but my sophomore mind will not allow me not to acknowledge it. Someone commented that we need to manage Travis Load, and then another person said pause to it. Shout out to the pause.
Also, I just wanted to be clear. I am capable of being a professional if I want to be.
If you want to be being the key.
Yes, if I want to be. I'm also capable of being me if I want to be.
You clearly don't want to be.
I don't.
And we don't want you to be.
Yeah, exactly. Being a professional is boring.
Single season receiving touchdown record was Nelson Spruce in 2014. He had 12. Right now, Zay only has 4. But the single game receiving touchdown record is 3. If he can break that and get 4 in one game, I mean, he could absolutely be on pace to get the single season record.
Who's this?
Zay.
What is it?
Yeah, the tough part to that,
Spruce.
Jake.
Sorry.
The tough part to that is what I just touched on. We spread the ball around so much.
Right.
It's hard for one guy, to end up with 14 touchdowns when you're going to have 5 guys with 5 each. But I think the game one can be reached, but the totality one, man, it's just hard because Shedeur doesn't have a favorite. It's going to be a different guy week to week, matchup to matchup. He goes to matchup and situations, not who his buddy is.
Yep. A few defensive ones. This one being interceptions. Cam hasn't had one since USC, right?
Mm-hmm. He has 4, I believe.
He is at 3 still.
Oh, okay.
But the single season record is 7, tied with 3 people. He could definitely get on track for that if he manages to get his hands on the ball.
Who are the three that have 7?
Tedrick Thompson in 2016,
Ooh, yeah.
Colin Bryant in 1972, and Dick Anderson in 1967.
Dick Anderson. Local kid.
Tackles is pretty much out the stratosphere. There's some ridiculous single-season tackle marks here at CU. The closest would be this year's Shiloh. He's only at 37, though. That's not even close to being on pace to break in the top 10.
Yeah, this place has had some incredible linebackers come through.
Yep.
Matt Russell, of course, being the one who won the Butkus Award. But, I mean, you can just go through it. Jordan Dizon, I've talked about. Even their Addison Gillum had like a 21 tackle game at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's been some guys racking up tackles out there.
That's about it, though. Record-setting season in many regards.
I noticed that we don't have any capability at this point of catching any of the run game records.
Oh, no, not even close.
No, I mean,
not
especially
with
considering,
Rashawn.
yeah, especially considering this is a school who, their bread and butter for the longest time was the triple option.
Yep.
You got a Heisman Trophy winner. You got everything that Eric Bieniemy did. And I said that just to once again call out that we, with the back half of the season left to go, we still have to find a way to run the ball and be able to at least dial up run plays and run situations, even if we check out of it to keep the defense honest.
Mm-hmm.
When it's 3rd and 2, man, and you with an empty backfield and shotgun, man, they're blitzing. We got to be able to run the ball to disguise some things. We got to establish the run the back half of the season.
Absolutely.
Eric Bieniemy, nearly 4,000 yards rushing in his career. Rashawn Salam, of course, in 1994 with over 2,000 yards in a single season. Fair to say those are pretty out of reach at this point.
My favorite sports call of all time is Larry Zimmer calling Rashawn Salam going over 2,000 yards, which happens to be like a long touchdown run.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he needs 12 yards to go over 2,000. Then he just breaks a long one. All the fans in the stands had little signs that said 2,000 on them, so everyone's holding them up. It's just I have goosebumps even just thinking about the call.
I love it. Of course, I wasn't there, but I remember it. I was watching the Buffs during those days, man. Check this out, though. I do think that Colorado Buffaloes under Coach Prime will one day have a back that can eclipse the season record. The challenge for like Bieniemy's numbers over career, the portal has just changed the game, man. You're not going to have a back 3 and 4 years anymore. It's not only with them going on to the NFL and transferring in or out. It's going to be hard to have a guy run the ball for you 3 to 4 years again.
I mean, he's been recruiting these 5 stars, blue chip running backs. They haven't gotten one yet, but definitely feels like just a matter of time.
I have a hard time seeing any running back in college football getting 2,000 yards given the current state of football.
Yep. Who's the last closest? Was it Bryce Love?
I don't know. Christian McCaffrey?
No. All right. Quick shout out to our friends over at Game Time. UCLA game is sold out. They're taking tarps off for this game already. Yeah. We're 2 weeks out.
Don't say tarps off around my friends. I'll just tell you that. Why not take off more?
They're probably going to have to.
Go to sell them.
Yep.
There's 2 weeks of the game. I don't understand. They're calling it a sellout already.
Yep.
So take off another tarp. Open up another 3,000 seats and sell those. Like what are we doing here? Why would they announce it as a sellout?
I think they just don't want Buffs fans there.
Huh. I guess I don't know why I'm advocating for this. Let them have as small of a crowd as they want. It just seems so weird to me.
I don't think it's going to matter anyway. I think Buff fans are going to take it over. You guys can get in the doors over at Game Time. Not just for this game. The home games are all sold out as well. And if you were trying to go to Pullman or Salt Lake for those games at the end of the year, you might want to get on it now. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code BUFFS, BUFFS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code BUFFS, BUFFS, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Before we get to questions, I have a bonus mid-season point. I know we're not watching the games when they're happening because we're obviously there. Is there a best call that comes to mind? Because the one for me that comes to mind is the Dylan screen. just Gus Johnson yelling, Edwards down the sideline.
That's awesome. That I can't think of them right now, to be honest.
I got the same one as you, Jake. As you said, we were not watching the broadcast, but seeing the replay and also seeing it overlaid with Dylan Edwards' grandmother in the stands. Shout out to Allison. She filmed that. For her to be cheering for her grandson as the announcer is saying what he's doing, man, it's pretty kick ass.
Yep.
You know what my favorite call of the season that just came to me is? It's from that TCU game, and
I know which one you're thinking of.
Travis Hunter's dropped interception.
Yeah.
He jumps the route and just barely hits off his hands. And Joel Klatt, it's just silent for a second, and then Joel Klatt just goes, "Jeez." It's like that's all anyone could say. Just watching him explode and make a break on that ball. Just, jeez.
That was a good
Jakey. I called you Jakey in public again.
What's up?
Since we're throwing out like some honorable mentions, and we got a road game coming up that they clearly don't want us to take over, man. Did Arizona State not feel like a home game at some points, man?
Oh yeah,
Shout
absolutely.
out to Buff Nation for traveling. It makes a difference. It was loud. It felt like a home game, man. Let's do the same thing for UCLA after this bye week.
Yep. Buff Nation was strong in TCU as well.
Yep. I thought the band was going to start playing the fight song.
I mean, they played his theme song.
All they needed was a conductor.
If only.
You'll get your chance, I think, again this season.
If he doesn't get it, he's going to take it.
That's true. All right, Alyssa, what's going on with the chat? My guy, Big Teasy again. Coach Prime said, ask Juju. Can we ask you, Neely, about Juju? I don't know if Neely's got too much on it, but sure.
I got this. He's fine. I talked to him, to see where his head was, where he wanted to be, wants to be on his team, he's committed to doing the work. I didn't even discuss with him what had happened, because once you're over it, then I'm over it, and we just move forward. But he's in a good headspace, man, and I'm looking forward to contributing, man. He is, I know we got guys like Jeremiah Brown and Bentley that can do the damn thing, and Ham, but man, Juju, when he is there to play, best linebacker in this conference, man, probably top 10 in the nation for that matter. Got to have him.
Alyssa, can you scroll up in the comments? Someone had a great call. It was Jada. Shiloh stunting like his daddy. That's another good one.
That was good. And then Horton almost shoved him into the goalpost.
Yeah, crazy. Weird.
Okay.
Chris.
This one's easy.
Oh, there you go. Best uniform category. TCU. Yeah. Unc, you have an opinion?
I like to mix and match, man. TCU overall, but those damn gold face masks on that black helmet would kick ass, man.
Yep.
Shout out to the gold or the grays, the silvers as well.
Yep, I love those. And then, of course, the Nebraska uni, gold, black, black is my favorite sports uniform of all time.
That was CSU.
That was CSU. You're right. The Nebraska uniform was the
white and black
helmets with the
white pants, I think, and white
pants,
numbers.
yep.
Yeah. Malik, can we play Alto and Smoke at running back second half of the season? No disrespect to Dylan and Hank, but we need to establish the run game so defenses can't just sit back and make it difficult on two.
I think you're gonna see more Alto. I don't know why you're taking Hank out of that when he's been the best running back of the group so far.
Yeah.
So, I would say, can we play Alto and Hank more if you're going to do that? No disrespect to Smoke. But I think that Hank absolutely has to be in that conversation if you're talking about establishing the run more. That being said, I also think you need Dylan Edwards to get back to
TCU form.
His TCU self. And I don't know if that's necessarily on Dylan at all as much as it is just about usage. They've called a couple screens for him. They've been successful. There was one that they just missed. But I just think, like, if you're going fourth and short out of the shotgun, then you should be running Dylan into the flat so that Shedeur can dump it off to him instead of taking those blitzes like you talked about, Neely, when you're going 5 wide and if the first read isn't there and then Shedeur's in trouble. So I understand the idea of getting bigger backs in there. And I think you need to do it, but you also need to activate Dylan in the way that you were able to against TCU.
Yep.
I got nothing to add to that, man. That was perfect. Well said.
Girls Club had another great one for Call of the Year. It's way up there. I don't know if you'll be able to find it. But when Omarion was going off against USC, who is this kid? Or Omarion Miller's electric. Those are great ones, too.
Those were good.
DCB with a great question. Favorite Coach Prime moment at the midpoint?
I mean, I think we kind of got into it with the best quotes.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's just in general his press conference after TCU was my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, mine is from a personal standpoint versus a coach's standpoint. Having been up close and seeing his health issues the past literally 18 months or more, and for him to have the plan that he was going to run out and lead the team out at TCU as far as Coach Prime moments go that were unspoken, was seeing him run at TCU, from the tunnel to the sideline, man. I knew we were going to win that game.
That's my same moment. Just seeing him get healthy and actually being able to run out the tunnel. And then he's just walking so much better now, too. I just love seeing that for him. So that's just been awesome to see.
But I would be remiss not to say that, again, we not coming no more. We here.
Yeah.
That, I'm telling you, that one lives on forever for me.
You know what, RK? It really does. And I mean, I hate to say this, but here's why it does it for me. I love the we here, but we erased the we here with Oregon. We erased the we here with USC. We erased part of the we here with blowing a 29-0 lead. As much as I understand the flavor and the vibe and was all for it then, as I look at it now with hindsight 2020 from the midway point back, we ain't here yet. We still coming. But you better get us now, because when we do get here, you won't get us again.
Well, and I love it. Maybe we, we're back to we coming. Got to arrive again. Let's do it against UCLA.
And nothing like coming again.
DCB answered his own question in the chat, though. The moment with Jimmy Horn in the CSU game for best Coach Prime moment of the year. That's an all-timer as well.
That is an all-timer.
Hey, shout out to Cameron Fairchild. Someone asked who plays us in the movie, and they got Ving Rhames as me. Hey, I like that, man. Seth Rogen is RK. And Bradley Cooper is Jake. Hey, man.
I'll take that.
That ain't right.
I'll take that.
Right. It's definitely Brad Pitt for me.
Neely's All right, next question. Wayne, what's up? Big what if number 2 comes back for a 5th graduate year. So this is after 2024. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out, but I don't think so.
No.
I think we're getting greedy at that point.
Yeah.
It's enough to want him to delay his clear NFL future past this year, which I feel strong he's going to do. But past that, at that point, man, it's like RK said, let's wish these kids the best and they can go on and make the most of their lives in the NFL, man. So, but the key between now and then is making sure that we can recruit somebody who can learn a year under 2 and get this offense under their belt and pass the baton.
He's only 21 now. He'll be 22 next year. That's kind of the perfect age to enter the NFL draft and be an assumed franchise quarterback. What do you want to say?
I'm still caught up on this actor. I think you're more of a Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's the comp I get quite often.
Yeah.
And you still Brad Pitt?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Big Teasy put him in work with the super chats today. Appreciate you, my man. Said, this is for the chat, the OGs, the real ones, and the DNVR crew / Neely. Keep receipts on who is here and continue to ride. Sco Buffs, we here. Love it, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for the support, Big Teasy.
Let's go.
Love you, chat, too, as well. Max says, can we get Lawrence Vickers to come visit the show? I'm sure he'd come. That would be crazy. That'd be amazing.
Would love it. We need an assist from our guy, Matt McChesney.
Yep. We know the right people.
Yep.
Big Teasy again. What were you going to say?
Keep going.
All right. In the future movie, who plays Jake, RK, and Neely?
We already got it.
We already got it. Thanks again, Big Teasy. Rewriter, what's the latest with the NCAA Tyler Brown situation? No news, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure he's just done for the year.
Yeah.
He's practicing, though.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The NCAA picks and chooses who they care about,
Yep.
and they chose not to care about Tyler Brown.
Somewhat relevant, just since we're on the topic. Do you remember Noah Fensky from last year?
Yes.
Did you see what he posted?
Yeah, I was a little bit worried when I saw the old Notes app screenshot, but I thought it was very positive towards Colorado.
It was. They said that he was invited back, actually.
Yep.
But decided not to come. But he's going through a similar situation where his mental health is, I mean, he obviously entered the portal because of what happened here at Colorado, but he's been dealing with mental health stuff too. So it's a bummer that the NCAA is so heartless. Really is.
Yep.
Morgan Freeman for Unc, DCB says.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I love it. Like, I'm going to say Brad Pitt, too, if RK can get away with it.
Oh, that's amazing. Denzel
Well, if you're
for
taking
Neely,
Brad
too.
Pitt, I'm taking Will Smith.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. This is hilarious.
Our guy Sean with the last minute super chat says, like Barinholtz is RK, Anthony Anderson is Unc, and Charlie Day is Jake.
I don't even know who Ike Barinholtz is.
Charlie Day's the It's Always Sunny guy. Who's Ike Barinholtz?
Let me Google him.
I'm looking at it right now.
Thinking
that's
like
funny.
for Jake, maybe like Wesley Snipes.
This is him. This
Oh, I
guy.
know that guy.
Oh, yeah, I know that guy. Yeah.
I'm out.
You're out.
I'll settle for Bradley Cooper.
From Bradley Pitt to Brad Cooper. Mm-hmm. Oh man.
Maybe a Ryan Gosling if we must.
Pete Davidson, Tyler Perry. You guys
This
are
is going off the rails,
hilarious.
man.
This is definitely off the rails. Good question though. It really got people going.
All right.
All right, now here's my pushback. Damn it, somebody
ahead.
put Tyler Perry as Unc. I will fight you. Like, I will find you and fight you if you try to cast Tyler Perry as me.
Better delete that comment.
I
Whoever
was
posted
gonna
that
say
then.
hide.
Mac Entertainment, Tyler Perry cannot play me.
Oh man.
That was good. That was good stuff.
Amazing show. Kind of don't want it to end, but here we are. All right, chat. We're only at 422 likes, 423 now. Let's hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe to the podcast as well. We'll be back tomorrow. McChesney's going to be here.
All good things must come to an end, Jake.
Yeah, that's true. Love you guys.
Question.
Yeah.
What are we
maybe
waiting on for the RK Crank That Soldier Boy video and conducting? What are we waiting on?
I thought we were waiting on you to get 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, where you
All right,
at?
look, man, look, we're about 500 away. Y'all get the pregame show up to 100,000 so we can debut the video of RK in Arizona. We're not going to say if he was drunk and if Jake was high. We're going to let y'all figure it out on your own. You watch and you decide.
I also sent in, I sent Alyssa the video of me taking down the sign at TCU, but we can just mash it all together for all of my shenanigans.
RK's greatest hits coming once we get to 100,000.
The DNVR pregame show highlight reel at the end of the season is going to be pretty awesome.
Hell yeah.
Can't wait, man.
Yeah.
All right, chat. Love you guys. Love you, Unc. Miss you, man. We'll see you soon. And we'll see the rest of y'all tomorrow. Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.
Go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.